Welcome to the Fantasy Baseball Weekly Podcast with Phil Naessens. Welcome to the Fantasy Baseball Weekly Podcast. My name is Phil Naessens, and I'll be the host of this weekly podcast, heard exclusively, for now at least, on Max Sports channels. And if you would like to contact us at any time, you can come over to philnaessens.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at FlashTennis31, and I'll be happy to answer your questions, your replies, and whatever else you need. If you would like to bring this program to your radio station, by all means, contact me, again, at philnaessens.com or over on Twitter at FlashTennis31. And we'll be right there. But this is going to be a weekly program. It's going to last anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. And what I'm going to try to accomplish here is real simple. I get plenty of emails and questions for my daily show. Those of you who listen to the daily show already are aware that we do a fantasy segment with someone from RotoWire. And that's 15 minutes a week. And we just don't have time to answer every single question. And it is difficult to answer them all via email. So I thought what I would do is put together a program where I can answer your questions, give you tips, advice, throw you a few sleepers, and generally talk about fantasy baseball and what's been occurring during the week or the previous week, and what you can look forward to in the following week. We'll also take a look at prospects, and we'll do a lot of different things around here, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know about you, but I love fantasy baseball. I am hooked on fantasy sports. Fantasy basketball and fantasy baseball are the two that I focus on. Fantasy baseball, though, is a different beast altogether. You have to know a lot of things, or at least be familiar with a lot of things. You need to be familiar with the players. You need to be familiar with pitching rotations and injuries, and that occurs every single day. You have to learn how to manage your disabled list. You have to learn when to let go and when to hang on to a player. Lots to do, and it's daily. One of the things that I like to advise people on, and something that someone told me a couple of years ago, I guess, on my show, is that you need to be able to spend 30 minutes per team in order to be successful. That's 30 minutes every single day per team. So when people say, how many leagues should I enter? Well, how many can you manage effectively? And how much time do you have to spend? If you only have 30 minutes a day, then one league will do it. If you have more time, obviously, you can join more leagues. Daily leagues work a little different. You have to be up on it for real. My best advice to you who are entering daily leagues, especially for cash, is really know your stuff. The best way to do that is to subscribe to a service like RotoWire. Now, RotoWire is the official fantasy stats provider for the Phil Naessens Show, and we're also using their statistics here on Fantasy Baseball Weekly. I'll tell you what, you can't beat RotoWire. Their coverage is spectacular. The columnists that they have are second to none. Their updates are daily, sometimes hourly. They have draft software there that you can pick up, and I suggest that you do. It's worth the money. It's worth the investment, especially if you're playing daily leagues and daily leagues for cash, to invest in a service like RotoWire. It's amazing. I can't say enough good things about it, but the draft software is terrific. You can use it offline. You have to make sure you refresh it before you do, and you'll get the most current information available. But there is so much there. It's an incredible piece of software, and it's free if you subscribe to RotoWire. And I suggest that you do. But that's what I would do if I was in a daily league. Now, I must say, we do get a lot of questions. And one of the main ones that I receive is, do you mock draft? Have you ever mock draft? And if you have entered a mock draft, how did it help you? And coming up, I'll let you know. Mock drafts. I used to mock drafts. I used to think that they were an incredible waste of time. You know, I'm pretty busy, as I'm sure you are. And I just didn't feel the need to spend 1 hour entering a mock draft, especially when it didn't count for anything. At least that's what I thought. And then, after receiving so many of your emails and asking me about this, I decided to participate in a mock draft. I did this over at cbssports.com. In the fantasy, they have several mock drafts every single day. I wasn't able to enter an auction draft because there weren't enough people participating for me to do so, but I did enter a standard draft, a 5x5 mixed league. That means National League and American League players. And I'll tell you what, I just went for it without any cheat sheets, without any notes. I just really wanted to just check it out, see what it was all about, and see how much value it would provide for me and for you. And it would make it easier for me to comment about it and let you know what I think. And to be quite honest with you, I was very surprised about the results, and I was very happy that I entered this. And if you have the time to do this, I suggest you do it, and do it more than once to get the feel of what you want to do, to get some idea as to what people are thinking and what you're thinking too. You know, like I said, I did not have any notes with me whatsoever. I just did it. And the results were, for me, I don't know, mixed. And more importantly, the results that I saw were absolutely, in some cases, predictable. And in other cases, they were astonishing. Now, the first 3 picks, I picked number 11, by the way. But the first 3 picks of the draft were Mike Trout, Miguel Cabrera, and Paul Goldschmidt. Right on the money. You know, you can flip-flop between Cabrera and Trout, I suppose. It depends on your preference. But Trout will offer you more statistics, I think. And you know, I talked about this last year where I wasn't sold on Mike Trout completely. But now I am. This kid is going to be amazing. He's putting up amazing fantasy numbers. And I don't see any reason why that won't continue this season. So Trout, number 1. Miguel Cabrera, number 2. Paul Goldschmidt, number 3. The 4th pick, to me, when I saw it, absolutely surprised me. The 4th pick of this mock draft, someone selected Clayton Kershaw as the number 4 pick. And I thought that was sort of bizarre that he would be picked that high. But at the end of the day, I suppose, you know, people have their preferences. I know that I would not pick a pitcher. I personally wouldn't anyway, in the first round, and this individual did. And I started to wonder why this person did that. And when all the results were out, and another thing that you want to do and learn from this draft, from me anyway, is how important it is to keep track of what others are doing as well. RotoWire's fantasy baseball draft software will help you do that, because you can just punch in the name and it'll link it in there for you. But when I saw the final results of the draft, I figured out where this guy was going. And his 2nd round pick was Justin Verlander. His 3rd round pick was Max Scherzer. His 4th round pick was David Price. Is there a pattern there? Absolutely. And those weren't the only pitchers that he selected, or she. And, well, this is a team that obviously values pitching more than others. Now, I probably, I know I used to put a premium on pitching, but now not so much. I have this system I try to follow, and I usually try to wait until like the third round or so to pick a pitcher, maybe even the fourth round to select a pitcher. But anyway, Kershaw was number 4. Andrew McCutchen was picked number 5. Joey Votto was picked number 6. Now, I thought that was a bit high for him, but it is what it is. Robinson Cano, number 7. Again, I'm not so sure that he's a first-round pick. I'm sure of it. I'm sure that even RotoWire does not have him in the top 12. And no, they don't. So that was probably a little bit high. Carlos Gonzalez, the 8th pick, good pick there. Ryan Braun, another one, he's picked 9th. Who knows what to expect from Ryan Braun? But a first-round pick, I'm not so sure. I just am not sold on him just yet. Who knows what's going to happen with him? And maybe it's just a matter of preference. Maybe I just don't like him and I wouldn't select him. But I know I wouldn't select him in the first round, so maybe he was taken a little bit too high there. Jacoby Ellsbury was selected number 10. I selected Yasiel Puig with the 11th pick, and Hanley Ramirez was the 12th pick in this draft. Now, some names were missing. Okay, Ellsbury, great pick. Great pick. But like Braun, that's a shaky one. Yasiel Puig, I think the sky's the limit, and I wanted to draft him first. That was the only thing that I've probably figured out. In a late round of the first round, if I have that pick, more than likely I'll take Yasiel Puig. I'm going to be looking for an outfielder, and he's going to do those things for me. He's going to get stolen bases for me, which is something that I want. I want to score in as many categories as I can, and I think Yasiel Puig will help me. Now, maybe I'll change my mind after a couple more mock drafts, but right now I'm still pretty happy with that pick. Hanley Ramirez, the number 12 pick, injuries. That's what keeps me away from Hanley Ramirez. I had him on one of my teams last season. It was frustrating, but when he was in the game and he was relatively healthy, he was incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. So I can see why someone would take him in the first round. Now, second round picks. Adam Jones was taken 13th. I selected Joe Mauer, 14. Prince Fielder was number 15. Adrian Beltre, 16. Troy Tulowitzki, 17. Chris Davis, 18. Evan Longoria, number 19. Adam Wainwright, number 20. Justin Verlander, as I mentioned, went number 21. Jay Bruce, number 22. Carlos Gomez from the Milwaukee Brewers was taken in the 23rd pick. And Jason Kipnis as the 24th pick. Now, I know Adam Jones, terrific pick. I almost grabbed him. But I always look for a first baseman and a shortstop in the first 3 rounds. That's how I generally try to do it. And I think Joe Mauer, for one, he's going to have dual eligibility, which is something that I really like. And 2, he's going to be moved over to first base where it's less likely for him to get injured. He's going to have more time to recover. He's going to be able to stay in the lineup hopefully every day. And if he is, and if he can, and he can concentrate a little more on hitting and less time worrying about other teams' batters and pitchers' meetings and whatever, I think he's going to be fantastic. And that's why I took him. Adrian Beltre, I thought he would have been a first-round pick at third base, but in this draft he wasn't. He was, though, the second third baseman chosen, and, well, Miguel Cabrera does tap him out. Chris Davis is another one I thought would be a first-round pick. He was not, but that's a pretty good pick at 18. Troy Tulowitzki, man, Tulo's the best when he's healthy. Unfortunately, he's rarely healthy for an entire season. He hasn't been in a long time. So, I don't know. Maybe I would have taken him ahead of Hanley Ramirez, but I don't know. But it's still a great pickup at number 17, especially if he can stay healthy. What great value that will be in a snake draft, or any other draft for that matter. And then you have Chris Davis, like I said. I thought, again, first round. Evan Longoria, well, you know what? You can flip-flop him between him and David Wright, I suppose. And I don't think you're going to see much difference. Perhaps Evan Longoria, if he's healthy too, will produce a little more. Justin Verlander and Adam Wainwright in the second round. That's a bit early for both of them, I would think. But they were chosen. And then Jay Bruce. I thought he would be a first rounder. I honestly did. I still think he is. Perhaps I would have taken him over Yasiel Puig, but I like Puig's stolen bases. I can put up with his crazy swinging and some of his antics, but he gets me stolen bases, and that's something that I value. And then Jason Kipnis, the 24th pick. Geez, I'm not completely sold on him, even though I think he was selected in the right round. I just don't know if that's who I want on my team. But this was an interesting round. A couple guys maybe I wouldn't have taken in the second round. A couple of great steals. And I think it went pretty close the way it should be. Now the third round was interesting too. Now Ian Desmond was selected as the first pick in the third round. Edwin Encarnacion was the second pick. Felix Hernandez third. Max Scherzer fourth. Jose Fernandez fifth. Buster Posey sixth. David Wright seventh. Yu Darvish eighth. Justin Upton 9. Alex Rios 10. I selected Gene Segura with the 11th pick. And Bryce Harper fell down to the last pick of the third round. A lot of pitchers there. One of the big surprises was that Edwin Encarnacion was not taken earlier. Perhaps people are a little leery of him. I'm not so sure. But perhaps it has to do more with injuries. And I honestly can say that I don't think he's a fluke. He had a very good season in 2013. 36 bombs. His walk rate was 13.2%. His strikeout rate was lowered. He's a great pick. Maybe he was probably a better pick than Joe Mauer. And the thing that scared me was the surgery he had on his wrist in the offseason. As a tennis coach, I get nervous about wrists and hands. If you remember last season, when Mark Teixeira went down, I said, don't look for him the rest of the season. That's a serious injury. I've seen tennis players who had to retire because of that injury. It's a difficult injury. And I was right about that. And I'm worried about those things. And that's why I probably didn't select him. Or I selected Joe Mauer ahead of him. Bryce Harper, he's about right. Gene Segura, I like him a lot. I didn't get the other opportunities to take those other shortstops. And I think he's the fourth best shortstop in the draft. And I took him. And I was lucky to take him because I like to get a shortstop. I like to get a first baseman. I like to get an outfielder, and I like to get them early. And I did. But boy, this was pitcher-laden in the third round. People were going after guys. Maybe that's a little early for some. Maybe that's too late for others. That's up to you, what you think you can do. And it depends on how your draft is going, too. Now, Justin Upton, the 33rd pick, if he has a bust-out year, that was a steal. There's no doubt about that. David Wright, he should be all right this season. He should, if he stays healthy, he'll produce. He's got a couple of guys to protect him in the lineup finally. So, good round. I thought it was a really good round, and I'm really excited. All right, you know what? I'll be right back, and we'll continue on with this mock draft. All right, on to round 4. And like I said, man, I had a great time, and I think you'll learn things, too, from this draft, from my mistakes. And if you want to enter a mock draft, by all means do, and do it often. But the 4th round was interesting, too. Chris Sale was taken first. I chose Steven Strasburg. Jason Worth was taken third. He was the 3rd pick of the 4th round. Freddie Freeman, number 5. Giancarlo Stanton, number 6. Matt Kemp, number 7. Jose Reyes, number 8. Dustin Pedroia, number 9. David Price, number 10. Brandon Phillips, number 11. Matt Holliday, number 12. And Madison Bumgarner, number 13. All right, we've got some pitchers up there, don't we? Chris Sale, nice pick. Maybe a little high, I think, but it's there. Steven Strasburg, I chose him because I like his strikeouts, and I value his strikeouts, and I always wanted to have him. I think he's going to do well this year. I know last season he had 8 wins, but I think a lot of that had to do with the fact his team just didn't produce when he was on the mound. Jason Worth, that was an interesting pick. I'm not so sure that Jason Worth is my overall pick or should be a 4th-round pick. I don't think he's that highly rated to me. You never know, though, with him. He could come back and have a bounce-back season, but I would think that other names like Jose Bautista would be taken before him. I would think that perhaps Hunter Pence would be taken before him. I would think someone like Mark Trumbo would be taken before him. Difficult call for sure. Stanton, I think that was right about where he would be. Matt Kemp, geez, that's a tough one too because, you've got these guys who spent most of the season injured. So, I don't know, man. That might be a little high. Giannis Cespedes, I would have probably taken him prior to taking Matt Kemp. But still in all, that was an interesting aspect there. Jose Reyes, another interesting choice. His injuries scare me, but I guess they don't scare him to take him in the 4th round, or this individual who took him in the 4th round. Freddie Freeman, yeah, okay, maybe so. Maybe a 4th rounder, I suppose. Dustin Pedroia, certainly good pickup there. Brandon Phillips, pretty good pickup, I think. Matt Holliday, the same. Madison Bumgarner, he's probably the ace over there now with the Giants. So, well, yeah, okay. I can see why someone would select him. In the 5th round, Craig Kimbrell went. First, Jose Bautista, Ryan Zimmerman, Mark Trumbo, Carlos Santana, Cliff Lee, Ben Zobrist, Matt Carpenter, Cole Hamels, Starling Marte. I chose Josh Donaldson and Hunter Pence. I think all of these are right about in line, except for one, Ben Zobrist. Man, I'm not sold on Ben Zobrist. I don't honestly think that he is the 4th or 5th best second baseman in the draft. But let's see what RotoWire has to say. I think RotoWire calls it pretty close. And if I'm wrong, well, we'll let them correct me. Let's see here. What do they have? They have Kipnis, the first one, Robinson Cano, Dustin Pedroia, Ian Kinsler, Matt Carpenter, Jed Jerko, who hasn't been taken yet, and then Ben Zobrist, the 7th best second baseman. So maybe he went a little bit too high there, but outside of that, this isn't a bad area to be drafted. I think the Jose Bautista round 5 pick would be a steal. Cliff Lee would be a steal, I think, at number 54. Craig Kimbrell's going to get you lots of saves, so that's not a bad thing to value. Starling Marte, if he wouldn't have gotten injured, he would have probably been rated a lot higher. And I like Josh Donaldson. I do a weekly Oakland A's report on my daily show, and Alex Hall was very high on him last year, and I drafted him, and I was very happy. I got him in the last round last year, and he was an MVP candidate. So you have to listen to people who know, and Alex Hall is one of those guys. If you want to listen to Oakland A's baseball reports, he's the best. There's no question. Round 6, and we're not going to do every round, but maybe we will today. Elvis Andrus was the first selection. Ian Kinsler the second. Jonathan LaCroix, the catcher from Milwaukee, was the third. Josh Hamilton, Shin-Soo Choo, Zach Greinke, Julio Terahan, Dominic Brown, Willen Rosario, Aroldis Chapman, Shane Victorino, and Will Myers were all selected. Now, the Hamilton one is interesting. 6th round, perhaps that's where he is. But I wonder about him sometimes. I worry about him sometimes. And maybe it's just me. But that might not be a bad pick. Jonathan LaCroix was a very good pickup there. Shin-Soo Choo is going to get on base quite a bit. that's a potent lineup in Texas. He'll be leading off over there. That should be interesting. He might score a bunch of runs. He's going to be something. Zach Greinke, decent pickup. Tarahan, decent pickup there. Dominic Brown, sky's the limit. But will he reach the sky? And, well, we'll find out in round 6 if that's an early pick or not. Willen Rosario, tremendous pickup there at number 69. I think that was really, really good. Aroldis Chapman brings the gas. He'll get opportunities. We'll see what happens with him. Shane Victorino, boy, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. That's a tough one in round 6. Victorino is one of those players who's been around a little bit, but will he be, and where is he at in terms of outfielders on RotoWire? He is way out of there. Let's see where he's at. He is, sheesh. He's not even number 30, 31, 32. Nope. Where is he? Boy, he got taken early, didn't he? He's not even in the top 42, 43, 45. Jeez, that's a tough pickup there. That must be one of those favoritism deals. I don't think Victorino's going to have that type of season. Not a 6th-round fantasy baseball draft season. Wow, that's a tough pickup there. The 7th round is interesting, too. We have Giannis Cespedes as the first pick. Gio Gonzalez, number 2. Matt Wieters, number 3. Trevor Rosenthal, number 4. Matt Latos, number 5. Mike Minor, Albert Pujols, Matt Adams, Eric Hosmer, Jose Altuve. Curtis Granderson is who I chose, and Kenley Jansen, the reliever. Wow, interesting pickups there. Gio Gonzalez had a tough season last year. I struggled with him. That's kind of high, I think, for him. I like the Rosenthal pick. I like the Wieters pick. I think Matt Latos went a bit low. I think he'll get a higher pick in reality. Mike Minor, the same. Albert Pujols, is he going to be healthy? And that's the key with him. Matt Adams, sky's the limit for him, and he is going to get his opportunities. Eric Hosmer, the same thing. I like Jose Altuve. That's a nice pickup at number 82. I like Curtis Granderson because, whether people think he's going to have a tough season because the right field porch at City's a little further, pay attention to Fangraphs.com and look where he banged all his home runs. He didn't just hit little dinkers over the right field fence in Yankee Stadium. He was hitting some rockets, and I think he'll do the same thing there, too. The 8th round, any real strange pickups? Well, Matt Cain went a little bit low. He was taken in the 8th round. Billy Hamilton was taken very high here. He may not even be the starting center fielder in Cincinnati. I think Jed Jerko was taken very, very, very low here. That's a fantastic pickup at number 93. Yadier Molina was taken as number 95, and I think that's too high for him. I mean, that's way too high. He should have been taken a lot sooner. And the Alex Cobb pickup, I like that in the 8th round. That's a great pickup. He was having a fantastic season until he was injured. And after that line drive hit him in the head, things changed. But now they're going to be wearing padded hats, so hopefully these types of injuries don't occur. The 9th round, Michael Wacha was taken in the 9th round. And, well, we'll have to wait and see if that's a steal or not. I don't know, man. He had a tremendous finish to last season. But where will that translate into this season? For me, that's up in the air. James Shields, pitching for Kansas City, the 2nd pick of the 9th round. I think that was a bit low. Jordan Zimmerman, again, he had an amazing first half of the season, but then he kind of came down to earth. Maybe that's a little bit low too, or maybe high, I guess. Maybe he's taken a little too high for me. I don't know. That's a tough one. David Ortiz, Big Papi. If he stays healthy, he's going to rock and roll for that baseball team. Jason Hayward, injured, and people aren't taking that into consideration. I think he would have went sooner had he not have been injured. Adrian Gonzalez had a monster year last season. Can he replicate it? And that's just the key. I don't know. Evan Gattis, he's going to have dual eligibility as catcher and outfielder. That's not a bad pickup. And Koji Uehara for Boston, he had an amazing year last year. Can he replicate it? Perhaps. And I chose Anthony Rizzo because I don't think he can get much worse. And in the 9th round, I think he's going to have a bust-out year, in fact, and that's a good pickup for me. I like that. The 10th round had more of the same. Brian McCann was taken in the 10th round. I thought he would have went sooner. Let's see who else. Glenn Perkins perhaps would have went sooner. Chris Davis, the outfielder from Milwaukee, that was a good pickup in the 10th round. Michael Kadire, if he can stay healthy, same thing. Garrett Cole was taken in the 10th round. I almost took him sooner. I didn't take him in this one. I took Alex Gordon, the left fielder from Kansas City. But Garrett Cole's an interesting case. If he's able to get his control down, he's going to be fantastic. What a pickup in the 10th round. And if he doesn't, well, it's not so bad. In the 11th round, any surprises? Masahiro Tanaka was taken in this one in the 11th round. Boy, 24-0 in Japan. How will that translate to the major leagues? It's anyone's guess. But supposedly he's Yu Darvish type. So we'll have to wait and see on him. Corey Kluber was taken in the 11th round as well. Joe Nathan, the reliever for the Tigers, taken in the 11th round. That'll be a steal. Because I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities, and that is a potent lineup over there, boy. Sonny Gray, taken in the 11th round. A lot of people are tabbing him to be the ace of that staff over there. And if he can stay healthy, he may do it. The only problem with Sonny Gray is I think they're going to put him on an innings restriction, so we'll have to wait and see. 12th round, Chase Headley was taken in the 12th round. Wow. I would have thought he would have went higher. Coco Crisp, perhaps that's a bit high for him. I thought he would have went further down. Jason Grilli, health issues is why he's in the 12th round. Jed Lowry, who knows what's going to happen with him. Matt Moore, taken in the 12th round. Perhaps that's the steal of this draft, because I think Matt Moore's going to have an amazing year. And if he does, look out. That is an amazing pick. Round 13 and so on. Doug Fister was taken in the 13th round. Brian Dozier from the Twins taken in the 13th round. Johnny Cueto in the 13th round. I selected A.J. Griffin. Jonathan Papelbon, 15th or 13th round. And Fernando Rodney, 13th round. Wilson Ramos, the catcher for the Nationals, 13th round. Wow. I would have thought he would have went sooner. Francisco Liriano was taken in the 13th round as well, and that ought to be interesting to see if he can replicate what he did last year. Now, as we move on and move through this, there were some interesting pickups. Nelson Cruz was picked up in the 14th round. I think that is a steal. It's a steal no matter what. If he can turn it around and hit the ball like he did last season, 14th round is pretty good. Jim Johnson, taken in the 15th round. That was interesting. Ubaldo Jimenez was taken in the 15th round. Very interesting. Neftali Feliz, who's coming off of injury, he was taken in the 15th round. Carlos Beltran is who I selected in the 15th round, and I think I got a steal because he's going to hit a lot of bombs in Yankee Stadium. 16th round, any surprises? Well, Starlin Castro was taken in the 16th round. He had a tough season last year. I think he's going to be all right, and I think that was a steal. And then you also have Aramis Ramirez, who was taken in the 16th round. That also will be a steal, especially if he can stay healthy. Boy, that was very, very high to take him. I would have thought he would have went a lot sooner. Manny Machado in the 17th round coming off injury. Mark Teixeira again, 17th round, coming off injury. Michael Bourne, 17th round. Okay, that's about right. Austin Jackson, 17th round. Brandon Moss. He was taken in the 17th round, and I have to tell you, that is a steal. If this person got a steal, if this kid can do anything close to what he has done in the past, that's a steal. RotoWire has him rated number 52. This kid's going to have a tremendous season, and if he does, wow, what a pickup at number 17. Let's see, number 18, Todd Frazier. Wow, that's a little bit late for him, I think. If he has anywhere near the year he had his first season, that's going to be a steal. I think Zach Wheeler was taken in the end. Zach Wheeler, 18th round. Well, we'll have to wait and see about him. Will Middlesbrooks, 18th round. Josh Reddick is who I selected, 18th round. Interesting pickups, no doubt about that. 19th round, Mike Leake. Boy, that was a steal. Napoli was taken that late. Let's see who else. Chris Young from the Mets taken that late. John Axford taken that late. Asdrubal Cabrera was taken that late. Neil Walker was taken in the 19th round. And then the 20th, we're almost finished here, folks. Brett Laurie taken in the 20th round. Injury plagues is what got him in trouble. Irvin Santana, 20th round. Johnny Peralta, 20th round. Boy, that was late for him. Let's see, 21st round, Adam LaRoche was taken in the 21st round. Wow. Andre Ethier, 21st round. Chase Utley, 21st round. Dexter Fowler, 21st round. Alex Avila, who I selected. I needed a backup catcher, 21st round. And to wrap this all up, Mitch Moreland was taken in the 22nd round. So was Melky Cabrera. So was Zach Cozart. So was Colby Rasmus. So was Rick Porcello. Let's see who else. Ryan Howard, 22nd round. Interesting draft. And to be quite honest, I know where I made some mistakes, and I'm going to clean it up. And that's why I suggest you take mock drafts and enter as many as you have the time to do. I did it the stupid way the first time without any notes. Now I've made those notes. Hopefully I've made those corrections, and hopefully you will have learned from my mistakes. All right, when I return, I'm going to take a look at a few prospects that may or may not grace the Major League fields and perhaps help you win your fantasy league. And I'll be right back. You're listening to the Fantasy Baseball Weekly Podcast on Max Sports Channels. Welcome back to Fantasy Baseball Weekly. If you are in a dynasty or keeper league, knowing who the prospects are is part and parcel to having a successful team. But how important is it to know prospects if you're in just a standard 5x5 league? Well, it's very important. Last season, during spring training, Eric Steven from True Blue LA came on my show, and every week, all he could talk about was this rookie prospect, this young green kid from Cuba named Yasiel Puig. All he could talk about. And I listened. And when he was brought up to the big club and inserted in the starting lineup, I grabbed him in one of my leagues. I wasn't able to grab him in all, but I grabbed him in one, and I was very happy that I did. Very happy. And so will you if you pay attention to these prospects and learn the prospects. We do a lot of weekly reports on my daily show, especially when spring training starts. And pay attention to those guys because they know what's happening and they see these guys. They're at spring training every day. They're interviewing these guys. I only have credentialed sports journalists covering these teams, so it's a good tool to use. RotoWire is another one, and I'm using RotoWire today. But the first one that I want to talk about is Byron Buxton from the Minnesota Twins. Everybody's talking about this kid. Everybody is talking about him. He is, without a doubt, the top prospect in Major League Baseball. People are comparing him to Mike Trout. He had numbers that were just incredible last season. Comparable to Mike Trout's minor league numbers before he got called up. He'll be playing AAA this season. He's only 19 years old. He's played on 5 teams in 2 seasons. He's jumped. He went from a rookie ball to A ball to high A ball, and he'll be playing AAA. Well, I'm sorry, maybe he'll be playing AA when he starts, but he'll be up there fast, especially if he can take care of business. This is a kid who steals 55 bases, or who has the ability to steal bases, hit bombs, and as he gets older and more mature, he's going to hit a bunch more. Byron Buxton is the guy you want to look for. Start looking for him around May. I don't think he's going to make the club right off the bat and go north, but start looking for him around May. When he does, and he arrives, grab him, because this kid is going to be fantastic. Another one who's going to be fantastic is from St. Louis. Another one from St. Louis, Oscar Taveras. This kid is going to be really good. He can steal a few bases, but more importantly, he hits home runs, and he hits gets RBIs, and scores runs. This is a kid who has really rocked the ball. In 2012, he cracked the daylights out of the ball. He hit 23 bombs in AA. Last season, he was injured. Otherwise, more than likely, he would have been up with the club. He's that good. And I suggest you keep an eye out for Oscar Taveras, because he is going to be special. And he's with St. Louis, and you know how it is with those guys. They only bring up people who can play. Another one who may make an appearance in the majors, perhaps as early as June, is Archie Bradley from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, he's their number 1 prospect. Last season, between high A and double A, his ERA was 1.84 in 152 innings. 21 of his starts were in double A last season. The only problem is that he does seem to walk a few people, and that can be an issue. You know, he walked 69 hitters in about, 141 innings, or 151 innings. That's quite a bit, and hopefully he can get that down. But his ERA in high A ball, or low A ball, high A ball, was 126, and his ERA in double A was 1.97. His whips were 1.13 in high A ball and 1.23 in double A. So this is a kid, if he can get his control down, you may see with the Arizona Diamondbacks this season. Another one that you may see is another Minnesota Twin. Miguel Sano perhaps could wind up with the Minnesota Twins. The problem is he has a strained UCL, and that might be an issue. He might need Tommy John surgery, but we'll have to wait and see about that. Apparently, he's 100% healthy, but you never know with these types of injuries. He has the opportunity to win the third base job over there, and if he does, this could be good for him. He has home run power. He has RBI power. Listen to these numbers. The numbers he put up in A-ball, 28 home runs, 100 RBIs. He split his time between high A ball and double A, where he hit 16 home runs at high A and 19 home runs in double A. So the kid can hit, and he can drive in runs, and he's going to be a great addition at some point for the Minnesota Twins, perhaps this season. Pay attention to him. Miguel Sano, Minnesota Twins. Addison Russell. Now, we talk about him on my show with Alex Hall. This is an Oakland A's product. He's 20 years old, and he is their number 1 prospect. Currently, he's played double-A ball. That's as high as he's gotten. I'm sorry, he did play 3 games in triple-A. He's going to start the season in triple-A. Their projection, and that means the Oakland A's people are waiting for him in 2015. But if something happens to Jed Lowry and Addison Russell can take care of his business, look out. Now, he can hit 17 home runs, 60 RBIs. He steals bases. He's an incredible shortstop defensively. This is a kid who is amazing, and I think you're going to be very happy if Addison Russell makes an appearance in the majors and if you grab him. Because this guy is sky's the limit. And the only thing standing in his way right now is an injury. Or when Jed Lowry decides that it's time for him to pack his bags and go as a free agent. Now, another one who might make an appearance this season is Jameson Taillon from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, he is a pitcher who has done quite well at AA and AAA. You know, he's right there. He's his ERA 3.67 in AA baseball last season, and in AAA it was 3.89. He's done okay. You know, he strikes out some guys. In AA, he struck out 106 and only walked 36. In AAA, he struck out 37 and walked 16 in 37 innings pitched. He's another one you want to keep an eye out for. If something happens to one of their pitchers, he might be the guy. If you remember, he's the kid from Canada who struck out David Wright and Ryan Braun when he pitched for Team Canada against Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. So Jameson Taillon is another one to keep an eye on. Javier Baez, the 21-year-old shortstop for the Chicago Cubs, he has Sterling Castro looking over his shoulder, and for good reason, because this kid can play. His season in 2013 between high A and double A ball, he hit 37 home runs. He is strong and tough, but the problem is he's not very good defensively just yet. And, well, the issue here is Starling Castro actually is, and that's who's blocking him. He might end up playing second or third. They could actually put him in the outfield. His bat is going to carry him big time. He's going to wind up in Chicago probably this season, and when he does, look for big things from this young fella, Javier Baez. And now the last one we're going to take a look at is 21-year-old pitcher from the New York Mets, Noah Syndergaard. Now, a lot of folks are talking about him. They say he is the star of the show over there. He could be. He's the 14th ranked prospect at RotoWire, and for good reason. His numbers last year were very good. In AA, he struck out 16 guys and walked, or 64 guys he struck out, walked 16 in 63 innings pitched, and in 54 innings pitched at AA, he struck out 69 and only walked 12. You know, he pitched really well in AA. His ERA was 3.00. His WHIP was 1.07. You will see him in a New York Mets uniform this season. Count on it. With their pitching staff the way it is, you're going to see him, especially if he starts out in Vegas hot as a firecracker. Look for him in June. All right, you know what? That's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of Fantasy Baseball Weekly. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen. You can follow us on Twitter at FlashTennis31, or you can like us on Facebook, and I encourage you to do so. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to send them to me or comment in the comment section, whatever. And I'll try to get them to you, and more than likely I'll answer your questions on next week's show. If you would like to sponsor this podcast, please contact me at philnaessens.com, and I will get you there. And if you would like to host this fantasy show on your radio station, please do so. You can find us every day at Max Sports Channels. Until next week, thanks for listening, and good luck with your mock drafts.